Ah, the Philips SHP9500. Many people's first open-back headphones. Wait, what's this? Magnavox? Why, these aren't the Philips SHP at all. What is this? It looks like an SHP9500, but it's not. In fact, what is this? Oh no. It's quite a bit cheaper, don't you think? The fuck? Why, what you're looking at is a $30 budget ripoff of the Philips SHP, just called the Magnavox HiFi Stereo Headphones. Complete ripoff. In fact, yeah, this is, by the way, this is how it actually came when I got the package. Yeah, this thing is basically an even cheaper Philips SHP9500. I mean, what do I even say? You take a headphone under $100, open back headphone under $100. Actually, if you look closely, it's not open back. It's completely closed, actually. Oh boy. Wow. Yeah, but, so, okay, I suppose this deserves a little bit of backstory. A few months ago, I went to a store called Five Below, which is like a dollar store chain that sells headphones for like $5. They have a little display where you can actually try out the headphones. So what I did was I actually went and took my phone one time. I tried out the headphones they had. Out of the 7 that were there, 2 worked. And my God, they sounded absolutely fucking horrible. Like, I can't even describe how bad they sound. Just really muddy sound, all bass, no treble, no upper mids. And it got me thinking, is there a headphone out there that's truly beyond redemption? So, I guess what happened was, I started experimenting. Rather than with expensive headphones like many audiophiles do, I started experimenting with some of the cheapest headphones that you can buy. One of these was the Parts Express headphone. Many people actually buy these just for the headband. They just snap the drivers off and use it for their COS KSC75. Next, I tried some Sony MDR ZX110 headphones for only $10. One of the best-selling headphones on Amazon. I know that there was Audio Science Review and all of his gadgets talked about how EQ could fix these headphones. I found it really didn't. What I actually had to do was tear out the inner foam inside. Like, there's this weird thick felt material blocking the drivers. Once I removed that, it actually had made them sound pretty decent. Just need a little bit of EQ to bring out the treble and remove some of the boxiness in the mids. But compared to like the underwater sound it came with, my God. Yeah, I was experimenting with a lot of cheapo shit. Tried some literal dollar store crap. Like, this is like literally stuff you can get from Dollar Tree. It looks like the KSC75, but it's like really crappy clips that fortunately don't seal very well onto your ears, so can't really recommend them. Surprisingly enough, they come with a little inline mic. $1. Yeah. And these don't even seal. Like, I did do some what I was doing was I was EQing my ear. I found out these actually correlate to the sonic earphones in Chronicle's database. So I was able to get these EQ'd, although without the ability to seal, because like something about it, it's like it just doesn't want to seal. Yeah, it's just completely pointless. But I guess what it just takes me back to the Magnavox HiFi headphones. I'm just going to come out and say it. I think I found my headphones that were truly beyond redemption. Now, even though these look like the SHP9500, boy, I really can't get that name right. Yeah, even though they look like them, they don't sound anything like them. They're not even, I don't even, well, I couldn't open these up because I was too afraid of damaging them in case I was going to return them. Yeah, it's like they don't sound anything like them. If you know the Philips SHP9500, I keep saying thousands, 100. The problem with those, they're pretty neutral. They got some dips in the upper mids, and then they got that huge sibilant spike that makes them just sound overall very thin. They've actually been featured in one of my blind test videos. Did a little APX test with them in the Sennheiser HD800. Surprisingly enough, subjectively, I found the SHP sounded better than the 800, but yeah, I guess that's just my ears. But these, holy fucking shit, these sound bad. God, it's like the cups are so heavy, compared to the cheap headbands. It's like you can't even pick them up. Oh my god. Like, you know, it's a lot of these audiophile review channels, they're like, it's kind of dry, it's kind of dark sounding. It's like, no, what I did, I went full objectivist, and I did listen to the science sweeps to find out exactly what was wrong with these headphones, so I could fix them with EQ. So the problem with the Magnavox sound is that there's basically three main areas where it just sucks. The first is the 900 hertz region. By my estimates, it was extremely boosted. I want to say between like 12 and 16 dB. Just, I found with a lot of these cheap-ass headphones, there's like huge resonances. Like with the Parts Express headphone, it had a massive hump around 250 hertz. And with the Sonic earphones, OEM, Chinese OEMs from the dollar store, they had a huge hump. It's like 600 hertz. With these, it was at 900 hertz. But what's weird is there's like a huge roll-off in the mids and the bass. I want to say everything after 500 hertz was just completely drained. There's just no bass extension on these at all. It's completely just lacking in all bass. It really does sound like crappy phone speaker quality. After that, there's like a huge spike in the upper mids. I forgot how much. I'm going to just put it on the screen, of course. But after that, there's a huge spike, similar to the real SHP. There's a huge spike around, I think, 5,700 hertz. I think it's close to like 6,000 hertz on the actual SHP9500. After that, there's a few spikes around 10K and 12K. But what this means is that it's just a terrible sounding headphone. There's no detail. It just sounds very hollow. It sounds, again, it's like phone speaker quality. I'm sorry I can't be objectivist and have like a fucking measurement, an $8,000 measurement rig where I could just show you the graph and say, hey, these suck a massive cock. No, you just have to take my word for it based on my EQ. Fortunately, I was able to EQ them to sound like basically like these. I told you, if you're good enough with EQ, you can get any headphone to sound like the HD600 series. But, okay, here's the problem, and this is why these are the headphones that are just beyond redemption. Aside from the fucking shit build quality, oh my god, I can't even pick them up without them almost snapping. I mean, 4chan likes to call these the Snapheisers, but god damn. What I found is that even if you EQ these to sound pretty good and give them the preamp so they don't clip, they still clip. And, I mean, this is going to be a very oddly specific example. It could be any song, like any lo-fi hip-hop song, but the Gex 2 Enter the Gecko soundtrack, Circuit Central track, that whole beginning synth sweep at the beginning of the song, it's like the crackling. It almost reminds me of like vinyl record crackling when they're very low quality, but no, it's the drivers shitting out. Now, I'm not really running these from anything that great. I'm just running it off an Apple dongle. I actually got rid of my amp and DAC stack because I figured I didn't really need it anymore. If I was going to settle on these 6XX as the endgame headphones, I could drive these from an Apple dongle at like 45 to 60 volume, depending on the dynamic range of the song. And it's loud enough that I'll ever need it. It's like, maybe it clips at like 100 or 99, but like by that point it's fucking deafening. But these, I tried these on the Apple dongle. I tried these on the line out of my Mobo on the computer. Unfortunately, my headphone jack is one of those bullshit ones where it splits between headphones and mics, which unfortunately causes my windows to just rapidly flash between headphones and mics, so it's basically just worthless. It's just one of the flaws of my tower, I guess. But, yeah, on both of those sources, it clipped like horrible. On the line out, even at 99, it was barely audible. I had to, like, boost these really loud. That's the funny thing I've noticed about a lot of these headphones. A lot of people are like, oh, 300 ohms, it's impossible to run. You need an amp. Like, no, these will run fine off an Apple dongle. All these people are just making shit up. But no, I found that a lot of these shitty fucking dollar store headphones, these really cheap ass headphones, like they do require a lot of juice. In fact, the Parts Express headphones, these really needed a lot of power. I remember when I did have an amp, I would have to put them basically maxed out on low gain, just for them to be as audible as this at like 12 o'clock on the knob. Yeah, it's like, it doesn't matter how good you can EQ them, because again, I mean, I won't say I'm not perfect. Again, without graphs, it's just a rough guideline of exactly what it'll sound like, but I'm sure there's like inconsistencies with the treble between this and this. Again, when I'm just going off my ears, going off sine sweeps, I can only really record it as well as I can hear it. I did try with the Fletcher-Munson curve. I did try different volumes. I did try different things like that. So it's not really perfect. Don't go, I mean, again, don't go out and fucking buy the Magnavox Stereo Headphone. I mean, basically, it's just a it's like almost like an official Chinese bootleg. To my knowledge, Magnavox is owned by Philips. Although I don't really have a source for that. I did check the Wikipedia page. It did mention them selling the Magnavox name at one point. Maybe they bought it back. So I don't know. It's like it is a real headphone, but it isn't. What I'm guessing is that they're basically using the same mold. They're just using, because they know it's a popular headphone design, they figure, let's just use the same mold. Let's just use some B-stock parts that we couldn't use. Because I'm sure they did want to make the 600. Because I'm sure they did want to make the 9600, and that ended up being a total fucking flop. Nobody liked those headphones except fucking noobs on Reddit. So the thing with the Philips SHP9500 clone is that it does have the detachable cable, just like the real one. It is just a standard auxiliary cable, 3.5mm jack. So if you do want to make your own, if like any like Dollar General $5 replacement cable, it'll work just fine, because you're gonna want that. This cable is like spaghetti thin. It's just fucking terrible. It's very long too, but it's very. It feels like if the wheels on your chair, like your desk chair, rolled over, it feels like it would rip them right in half. But here's the real thing that makes them shitty. It's an inline mic. It's got the TRRS jack, and if you see this, I want you to look at this. I'm rotating the fucking inline mic jack while the rest of the cable just stays perfectly still. Does that seem like it should be like that to you? Does that seem like this is normal? It's not. It's like, what the headphone does this? I've had like fucking AliExpress shit. Wait, no, I think even, wait, these didn't have it. Yeah, even the Dollar Tree Cost KSC ripoffs, even that's like a better cable technically. It doesn't rotate like that. It's like, it's like, you think like $30, a headphone with a detachable cable. You think like the Superlux, that's like the next higher up that has a detachable cable, and it's not even a true detachable cable. It's like they take this end of the TRS jack, and then they just solder it to the end of the headphone, but it's like a female jack, and then you plug the male jack into that weird jack that's sticking out. So it's really not a true, it's not like a true jack on the Superlux, but it's better than like this, I guess. Actually, I guess this is technically better, because you could just take any like cable. I mean, I guess you could take that any cable too, but it's like, no, it's just crazy to me, because it's like this. I mean, again, $30 to get you a headphone that actually does come with a detachable cable. They really do like to nickel and dime that shit, but it's just, does it worth it? I mean, it's like the cups are actually heavier than the band. It's so creaky. And again, I've owned these SHP in sometime in 2020. It was nothing like this. It actually was a true open back, but it was like, I mean, the earpads feel sort of similar, I guess. And I guess this part feels sort of similar. I can't tell. I don't remember exactly, but I know this plastic quality, it was nothing like this. It actually feels worse than most of the dollar store headphones I've tried. I mean, I guess that's really all I have to say. I basically only made this review because I know I got some requests on the last video, the KRK KNS60402 video. Some people were requesting me to make another headphone review, and I thought, you know, it's like nobody really knows this headphone exists so far. I'm doing like a public service for people, telling you stay the fuck away from the Magnavox HiFi Stereo Headphones. I mean, not that you would. But it's like, you'd see this headphone, you probably think, it's like, you think, does it sound anything like the real thing? No, it doesn't. And while you can EQ it, it will fucking clip like mad, even on like a modest source. So it's like, what the fuck is this supposed to run off of? Even if, and it's like, even without EQ, even at reasonable volumes, with like the intended, as the designers intended tin can sound quality, it still clips. So it's like, look at this. Max power, 200 milliwatts. Bullshit. It like clips after just nothing. It clips after nothing. I don't know what these headphones exist for.